Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast. Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floated to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman.
But
Speaking of those Lakers,
But I hold on. But I didn't make my.
I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CMG Sports NFL pregame show. I'm Big J, joined by Joe Guire and Jared Jones. And we got you here, Jared. We got to recap Thursday. Boy, tough OT loss for your Cowboys. I mean, they've been struggling lately. What are your thoughts on Dallas right now? How confident are you going into this playoff push here?
I think they can beat anybody in the league. And I think they could probably lose to just about anybody in the league, too. This is not your most consistent team. But that said, they've beaten this year most of the guys they were supposed to beat. And that's what we haven't done in prior years. So that's why this game worried me, because it's one of those games that I would have looked at 5-10 years prior to this and said, this is the game the Cowboys are supposed to win that they lose. Tony Romo was notorious for this. Came in, he was Division III, Eastern Illinois. You know, nobody knew him. He wasn't supposed to be anything. Bledsoe got hurt. He's a nobody. Zero expectations. He killed it out of the gate. And then high expectations. And he can't catch an extra point. He can't hold an extra point still. So Roma, he did that over and over. When you stopped expecting things, he performed. And then when you started expecting things, he stopped performing. And that's who the Cowboys have been for quite some time now. So this game was a little bit worrisome because I want you guys to go out there and beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
You know, Jared, I'm glad you said that because I think if you're coming off a win over the Chiefs, not a loss, this is just a bad game. You could pin most of it on Anthony Brown, who was just awful on Thanksgiving Day.
And Tyron Smith.
Well, we could.
The officiating was awful too, though, Joe.
There was a lot. There was a lot
They've
going
got
on
pass
there.
interferences. They're just letting go on the Raiders, and then they're calling like this very similar plays on the Cowboys. If you lined up those 5 or 10 plays,
I thought you were
joking.
You're really going to go with that, huh?
No, I'm dead serious. I'm not, and you know. Because we do a boxing show.
You know, if you weren't wearing that star on your head right now, I could take you way more serious, I think. If you
they lost the game. They had opportunities. They blew it. They lost the game. Got that. But there was some awful officiating in this game. It was worse than most games.
I think the league in general.
The guy's facing the total opposite direction. And we had just had one of those called on the Cowboys where he wasn't looking the other way, only we didn't have our hands on the guy.
I'm glad that you brought up the sports combat, the combat sports show that we do, because you know what? There's a very definitive way to beat somebody in that sport in knocking or submitting that person. And then there is the subjective way to beat somebody. You go the distance, it goes to the judge's scorecard, and we have no idea how they're going to score it. And pass interference has
Brandon Figueroa won last night. I'm pissed. Brandon Figueroa won the fight. Watch it. He won. Sorry. Go on.
Listen, if you listen to Teofimo Lopez, he won that fight as well. Again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. And one judge thought he won.
As long as Tony Romo isn't the beholder.
Oh my goodness. Listen, I'll tell you what I think. I think the Cowboys are fine. I said if they lost the game to the Chiefs that they would be fine, figuring they would bounce back and beat the Raiders. It's not like you got destroyed. You played a sloppy game on a short week. Yeah. I don't know if I'm angry about this. And listen, it's to say the Raiders are a good football team that have been going through all sorts of stuff, but less Henry Ruggs, this is a really good football team, and other guys certainly stepped up. It's the way they got this done here. Derek Carr is still having a really good season for a team that's, man, it's just been through the ringer in so many ways, from Gruden to Ruggs to, Barnett. It's been one disaster after another. This team needed something like this to get themselves back on track. So I hate to say it, but, Dallas is slightly less motivated the last couple of weeks because they're so good. And I don't think either of these two losses changes that for me at all.
I don't think this is huge upset, bum team beat Super Bowl contender. I think this is a slightly underrated team beat a slightly overrated team in a really good football game.
Yeah, I mean,
the Raiders are probably one of the most underrated football teams in the NFL, with all the controversy they'd had to survive, and they still are putting a good product on the field.
Yeah, I mean, even when they started off in a hot start, people still weren't giving the Raiders the respect, and then everything kind of went downhill, and they were able to bring it back here and there. But, I mean, the big thing with this game is that the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, before all this madness had ensued, when everyone was super, super high on them, they had, before the Broncos game, they only have, from that point on, 4 teams that were 500 or below left on their schedule. It was the Broncos at that point. It was the Chiefs at that point. It was the Raiders at that point. And all 3 of those are losses. And now you got possibly the best game, the best team in all football right now as that 4th game, Week 17. You got possibly the best team in the NFC in the Cardinals. So if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm scared going into the playoffs because the past 3 teams that 500 or above, you struggle with, and now you got this beast in the Cardinals coming up. If you can't struggle against those teams, if you can't beat those teams, how are you going to beat a team in the playoffs?
It seems this team rises to the level of competition. And that's not a bad thing in the playoffs. It's a bad thing in the regular season, but not in the playoffs.
That's what, I don't want to, I stream over into fighting with everything I talk about, but that's what happened last night, man. You see a guy that everybody he's fought, split decisions, majority decisions. One of the judges had the other guy. He rises to, even when it's Teofimo Lopez, he's going to rise to the level of his competition. There's just some people that are like that. And that's, the Cowboys will beat the Saints and we'll stop talking like this. Cowboys beat the Saints Thursday, and the conversation goes back to them being a Super Bowl contender. And they are.
Yeah, the Saints are also pretty banged up.
The Saints are finished.
Yeah, they're done. They're done.
By the time the Saints get healthy, if they can get healthy, I think the deficit will be insurmountable. There's too many teams, the Carolina Panthers, the Vikings, some of these kind of mediocre fringe teams, the Eagles. I don't see there being a path for the Saints.
It just hasn't been a breeze for them recently.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Cry them a river. That's who they should get on the phone with ASAP. Anybody like that. But that's unfortunate. Nice to see the Bills back on track. Matt Breida, boy, when you have two guys on your roster who are just underperforming, it's nice to be able to pull somebody else in, a guy who's had some chances, been banged up, been banged up this year. But if you've got him in fantasy, that's a guy you might want to get in your lineup for the foreseeable future, because the Bills have to be able to run the football to win the game.
I actually picked him up in fantasy a few years back. I've dropped him since. You know what his nickname was when he was on my team is the Hair. Matt the Hair Breida.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that one a lot.
Hare, because he's fast, but then
and I mean, we're talking about Thanksgiving Day games. We got to mention the Lions. When I thought it was going to be Tim Boyle. When I saw Jared Goff trot out onto that field, I was like, "Oh crap, my parlay's broke. I'm gonna lose a bunch of money today." But Jared Goff, I mean, everyone loved what he did with the Rams. He doesn't have a win without Scott McVay in this league. He is extremely overrated. I mean, Sean McVay, I don't know what it comes from. He's extremely overrated. The Lions suck. They're going to get the number 1 overall pick. I mean, if Andy Dalton.
Listen, let's be fair for a minute, if we can, for Jared Goff. The Lions didn't trade Stafford for Goff thinking they were going 11-6. You know what I mean?
Right.
That wasn't. I think the Lions are very content with this 0-4 business because it does lock in a number 1 pick. And they made a really good number 1 pick last year. And, I mean, there doesn't appear to be an answer at quarterback in the draft, which means they'll use the draft for other things, which means the Lions are going to probably try to get a quarterback somewhere in this league, somebody who's already probably currently starting somewhere. So,
Goff or Stafford was stupid in the first place. Like, who do you like, Goff or Stafford? Yeah, no, that was a perfect answer. That was exactly what I wanted you to do. Who the hell cares? Both. They're the same guy almost. What, like, that was stupid.
Yeah, but they're definitely not. I mean, Matthew Stafford, I think, has shown me that if you put him in a good – because I said before the season I didn't think it was going to make a difference at all. That was my thought. I thought if you can't win with Goff, you can't win with Stafford. I don't see them. I think they're interchangeable. The guy's having a great season. Goff, listen, I mean, what did he start the game off? Like 10 for 10? But there's not a lot going on in Detroit, and there's not a lot of guys to give the ball to. And when DeAndre Swift got hurt, it is slim pickings on that team.
Yeah.
And, Matthew Stafford struggled there. Goff's going to struggle there. Boyle will struggle. You could put anybody there. This is
if
that.
We could just get Mr. Papadopoulos back on that offensive line.
No kidding.
That was an old person joke.
When you have Megatron and Barry Sanders and nothing to show for it in terms of winning, you know that you're a lousy organization. And as a Giants fan, I feel like I can speak to what a loser organization is. Without any Super Bowls, the Giants are the Lions. Where you've had some of the greatest of all time, and in spite of that, have still really never enjoyed any sort of sustained success. And that's a really sad thing.
Well, and we had this conversation about the Giants the other day. They had a short gap in the mid to late 80s there. But calling any Giants team a dynasty, I like that. I ended up giving you the win on that argument. But the idea that Jeff Hostetler came in for Phil Simms, that one of these Super Bowls came to a 9-7 wild card team, Like these aren't dominant, rolling over everybody Giants team. Besides that, defense from '86, that mid '80s team, and otherwise, that's what you're getting. Yeah, and Dallas has been 500 for forever.
Every Bears win, however, does make my stomach sink as that draft pick gets worse and worse for the Giants. Yeah. I just hope, my hope is that the pick that they got from the Bears doesn't end up being too much further behind. You know what I mean? I'd like to think that it was going to be a worse one, but what are you going to do?
No, I think right now they're both the picks are top 8, so upper half at least.
Well, let's keep them losing then.
And I mean, Bears fans, I think from what I've heard from Bears fans I've talked to, they want the Bears to lose as well because they want Matt Nagy out of there. So let's just work together in harmony, and the Bears can keep continuing to lose.
The Bears.
The Bears. But let's take a quick break. I mean, Thanksgiving this past weekend, everyone having fun at their homes for their family. But if you are in the market to maybe upgrade your house, look for a new home to spend Thanksgiving in next year, make sure you check out Jess Rydell and CTBB Realty.
So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBB Realty is?
People over paychecks, you do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
All right, and now let's get into the Sunday slate. Today's slate of games, starting off with defending Super Bowl champs Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Lucas Oil Stadium to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Joe, the Colts are hot right now, and I mean the Bucs. But besides Monday night, they have struggled the past couple games. Can the Colts pull off the upset at home?
I don't think so. I do think that the game against the Giants was the get-right game for the Buccaneers. This is a hard league, and it's hard to win games. And again, Jared, not to bring up fighting, but one loss doesn't mean you're a washed-up bum. And, you could even lose 2 in a row. And I find it, for again, Chiefs and Raiders back-to-back weeks, yeah, that's, it's going to happen. It's a matter of getting back on track. The Buccaneers didn't struggle with the Giants at all. It looked like they looked like the fine-tuned machine that won a Super Bowl last year. And so if I'm the Colts, Jonathan Taylor certainly playing at an MVP level, but who's not? Carson Wentz. Not playing at an MVP level, playing at a decently productive level, but I don't think it's going to be enough today. I think that the Bucs are that front four and those linebackers is going to be a tough day for Jonathan Taylor, and it's going to be an even worse day for Carson Wentz.
You do bring up those linebackers. I will say Devin White is right now listed as questionable, and also the Hog in the middle, Vita Vea, is also listed as questionable for the Bucs. And for Indianapolis on the other side, Darius Leonard is listed as questionable as well. Jared, how do you see this playing out?
Vita Vea is a big miss with JT and not Justin Timberlake. I know we cry me a river. Like, we get a JT. Why do we get a Justin Timberlake shout out every week? Just curious. We'll have to look into that. This is going to be a tough task for the Colts. I don't see them getting it done.
That's very funny, dude. That's really good. I mean,
thank you. I was trying to work "You Sunk My Blankenship" in, but I couldn't find a good way. Bucks for the win, probably by 10.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. This is tough. I get what you guys are saying. I mean, the Colts are super hot right now, but I guess they are slated for a little bit of a letdown spot after that big Bills win. And yeah, I mean, just like last year, the Giants game, the Bucks are a different team after they play the Giants. Granted, I mean, a different outcome with the Giants games than last year and this year. But I mean, that was the turning point for the Bucks when they started going on the tear, and I think it'll be the same. I mean, you can't pick Tom Brady to lose to Carson Wentz. I mean,
well, here's the other thing, and I know everyone's excited about how well the Colts have played. The Colts have won 4 of their last 5. They've won 3 in a row, but they beat Jacksonville. They beat the Jets. They beat San Francisco. Not exactly,
juggernauts.
Yeah, Buffalo. They beat pretty badly. And listen, Buffalo's got its own problems, but again, I think just had their get right game on Turkey Day as well. So, the Colts. Listen, if you take a look at the Colts' overall numbers, points per game, total yards, offense, I mean, very, very similar to what the Buccaneers are doing. So the big difference really comes down to converting big third downs, and nobody does it better than Brady. So I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to win you out the game. And I don't know, just the way Brady's playing right now. Like I said, Carson Wentz, man, 18 touchdowns, 3 picks, playing well. He's certainly not been the problem when he's been in there. That's for sure. But I think it's just going to be too much Bucks for him today.
I will say, though, I mean, if the Colts do happen to eke out a win here, I mean, with the AFC being wide open as it is, do they start getting in that talks as a team that could possibly maybe even win the AFC, Jared?
A 6th loss is bad, Jared. I think 6 losses, like I said, with the Chiefs and the Cowboys, you can't. That 6th loss now at this juncture of the season, boy.
This team is built 10, 20, 30 years too late with the bull running back and the average, slightly above average quarterback. The workhorse running back and slightly the Joe Flacco's and Trent Dilfers and Phil Simms. Sorry, guys, days of winning Super Bowls are not probably. Did you read the report about what they charged Tom Brady for his AirPods? A Buccaneer. No, the Colts lose this game and double digits.
All right.
I would go more Hostetler and O.J. Anderson if I were to make a giant comparison here, because I feel you feel that, Jace? Yeah. Can you see that a little bit more? Yeah. And again, looking at the 18-3, those are very Hostetler type numbers.
Or David Craig and Christian Okoye from 95.
I could get behind that for sure.
Just a bear and a slightly above average quarterback.
All right. But I mean, let's talk about, the Colts. Everyone's talking about how they're getting right at the right time. Let's talk about another team that's just as hot in the New England Patriots as they host the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, we know Derrick Henry's out. They just put A.J. Brown on IR for 3 weeks. So that's a mess. And then the Pats, they have Damian Harrison, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, and Jonnu Smith, all listed as questionable but are expected to play. It's going to be a cold one, 36 degrees, possible snow in Foxborough. Joe, a couple weeks ago, everyone said, no way the Titans beat the Rams. They did. They went in and did this. Is this just, like Zay when he was on here, is this just too perfect for the Patriots? Are they going to fall here, or is your boy Mac Jones just going to continue to roll?
I don't know if you remember October 18th, 2009. That was the most embarrassing game I've ever witnessed in my entire life. The Patriots beat the Titans in a snowstorm, and it was the Titans. It was like like a peewee league where just like one team was good and the other team was just, like they're learning. It just bad. I think it's gonna be something similar like that today. I think that these Titans are in incredibly bad shape. I also think as far as Stevenson and Harris being listed as questionable, as well as Henry and Sanu, I'm surprised he doesn't have more people listed as questionable. That's what Bill Belichick does. He likes to have everybody listed as questionable or probable because then you don't know who's coming. So I think that might be just a little gamesmanship on old Bill's part here. But to me right now, the Patriots are the best team in the AFC. I think they'll have a chance to prove it today against Tennessee at home. I don't know what else you could possibly want if you're the New England Patriots. Maybe that it could be a little bit colder. It was just snowing here a few minutes ago. I don't know if you guys have had any snow, but I'm just south of Hartford, and we were just enjoying a lovely. Again, if you look at the Titans, their leading receivers and their leading rusher are gone. Adrian Peterson was released. This is we talk about needing weapons to win games, and your big three are gone. And I like Ryan Tannehill a lot. I always have.
Yeah.
You're asking this guy to do a lot here with very little. A defense that's a very bend and break defense, and I think nobody knows how to take advantage of a wounded animal like Bill Belichick does. And I think he's going to put together an offensive package today that's going to be meant to keep Tennessee on the field for as long as possible. And I think offensively, they're going to struggle to move the ball. I mean, this could either be a 20-0 New England win or something in the 40s, a 40-6 win. It's going to be a really rough day for Tennessee.
I don't like that 40-something. I thought the 20-0 maybe. I say take the under and careful with covering the point spread. I think it'll be a close game, low scoring, and probably the Patriots get it done. But I don't know. If you've got one of those 4 or 5-way round robins going, Joe, you might want to tack Tennessee onto one of them just in case the spread's too big, the money line's too big. This will be a good game. I'll take the Patriots in a low-scoring squeaker, though.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take the Patriots. With the weather, the possible flurries, that could make it even uglier. But I do see a little bit of an avenue for the Titans front four. That's been what their defense has hung their hat on. If they can get pressure on Mac Jones, maybe they can force a couple turnovers. But, with that being said, if they do that, I don't trust Ryan Tannehill to go down and score. So, the Patriots red hot right now.
Wait, where's your path? What's the path exactly?
What?
The front four pressures Mac, turnovers, and then you don't see Tannehill converting. So where's the path to them winning?
The path is if they get pressure
4
on
field
Mac
goals, a 12-8 win.
Yeah, it would have to be a field goal battle, I guess.
12.
But no, yeah, Patriots
3-2.
Patriots are gonna get it done, and
3-2 Red Sox.
My big thing with Patriots, so I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to call them the best team in the AFC. I don't know why.
If they beat the team that we all currently say is the best team in the AFC, what else do they need to do then?
Sander, I got to answer this question. I have a little rule when I bet. Stop pretending you know everything. because you hear the two teams and you know the Titans and you know the Patriots and you pretend you know everything. But look at the numbers. One of these teams 8-3, the other one's 7-4. If I didn't know, I'd be like, why is the team with the worst record minus 300? So look at the numbers, look at the team, stop pretending you know everything. And yes, this is a dangerous play, and mine is up to 7.5 instead of 6.5. That number's rising, and it's just no longer a good play. If you want to play this game, you take the money line with the Patriots, and I'd maybe tack it to the under, and 10 wins you 25 or something. Or tack the Titans to the under, and 10 wins you 50.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of hedge in there.
Don't mind if I do.
That's what I like to do. Last night, I didn't do it. I thought Tiafimo was definitely going to win, but most nights I'll take the 4 or 5 underdogs, round robin them for $1. There's a guy named Mike Guy was a plus 300. I had Brandon Figueroa on that same card, so there were 3 that were I like plus 4 or 500. Brandon Figueroa gets the win. I win like $170 off of that $1.
Jeez.
If the Titans and the Giants and the Steelers manage to win, your dollar turns into $1.60 with the Steelers, and then you multiply it by 2 is 5, and then the Titans by 3, so you win 12, 13, 14 bucks off of $1. And the higher those pluses are, you round robin them. There were plus 1200s. 2 plus 1200s is $144.
Jared, let me give you one better. Let's say you didn't know anything, all things considered, 8-3's at 7-4, and know that the team that's 8-3 is also 4-1 away from home. The team that's 7-4 is 2-4 at home. Now, and Sander brings up a great point. The record in November, historically speaking, New England does not lose in New England. Like I said, this game got played in the 2009 season in October. Big snowstorm. Tennessee had no answers for anything, which is, again, why I say, and I don't disagree with you, because I do think Tannehill's good enough. I think the Titans' defense is good enough. They could keep this close. But if this game ended 42-0, it wouldn't shock me because, again, Belichick's the kind of guy where if he can exploit your secondary, he's going to keep throwing the football, even in a snowstorm, and he will run up a score on you. I doubt it'll happen, but if the Patriots can score a lot of points, expect that they will.
And you make a good point, and I see what Sander's saying here, but at the end of the day, I sit here and you make it my task, spend an hour and really figure out why Tennessee's going to win and then give me 2 good minutes of why Tennessee's going to win. Or spend an hour and really, you can crunch the numbers either way you want. It's why that's one of my rules. Don't pretend you know everything. Look into a little bit. And when you look into this game, it's too close. It's too close for a 7.5-point spread. And I think both defenses are good, and the weather keeps it under whatever it is, 45, 44.5.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, New England and, in the November and that stuff. I mean, you can find similar stuff. I mean, Vrabel has had Belichick's number in the past as well. So, I mean, it can go either way. But the injuries, the injuries are just too immense for the Titans.
Listen, the Patriots have won 5 in a row. The Titans, coming off that bad loss to Houston, this is who they had beaten in the 4 previous weeks. Ready for a who's who in the NFL? New Orleans, the Rams, the Colts, and the Chiefs. And I've been saying, even with even with my man Derrick Henry down, this is still a good football team, and they've beaten some really good teams. That defense has been suspect for a lot of people. I think that the Titans' defense is plenty good enough. So it is a good team. I mean, and if the Titans were to win today, I wouldn't be shocked by it, tell you the truth. It's a good football team. But what they're being tasked with today, and with the lack of weapons they have, going to be really tough.
And
it's
they
gonna be really
both
tough.
look like 8-4 teams. It's hard to see the Patriots after 12 being 7-5. You're like, how did a team that good end up 7-5?
Right.
So again, it depends on where you're standing. It's all relative and subjective. But yeah, I think this is too good a team to give away 7.5 points. I didn't bet this game. I didn't take this game at all. If I did, I would have taken the under.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about two of the best teams in the AFC. So, I mean, I know the spread and injuries are joining it, but they are still two of the best teams in the AFC right now. But and moving on, we got two of the best teams in the NFC squaring off. We got my boy Steve Risser from Sports Talk with R&J breaking down one of the players on the Rams.
Hello, everyone. This is Steve Risser, the host of Sports Talk with R&J, and today my player profile is going to be on Aaron Donald. For the last 4 years, there's no player on defense that has been better than Aaron Donald. He already has the resume of a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He's been named a 6-time All-Pro. He's been Defensive Player of the Year 3 of the last 4 years, and he had 18 sacks in 2018, which is amazing for a defensive tackle. He's as good as he is because he's great against the run, and there's no defensive tackle in the league that can get to the QB like he can. And that's why you have to double him all the time. According to Pro Football Focus, Aaron Donald is the highest graded defensive lineman in the league this year. And he should have a great week against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
All right. That is Aaron Donald. And then him and the Rams go to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Supposed to be cloudy, but 36 degrees. Also, wind is expected from possibly 10 to 15 miles per hour. You got a banged up Aaron Rodgers for the Packers. I mean, his toes have been all over ESPN all week long. And then you also got Aaron Jones, who is questionable. And the Rams, 2 tough losses, now a bye. Can they go into Lambeau and rectify their past 2 games, Joe?
This is not a game I think that the Rams are going to be able to win. I think that Green Bay is a tough place. I think Green Bay's defense is right now playing and is better than the Rams defense. Take out Aaron Donald and, I feel like that defense has slightly underperformed. So I think this is a tall task going into Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is playing outstanding football. This team is 4-0 at home. The Rams have played well, 4-1 on the road, but this is a tall task, dude. You going into Lambeau Field, 36 degrees. This is not what you would call LA Rams weather. And so I think they're going to struggle. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think in the end, I think Green Bay pulls out something in the 27-24 range, something like that.
Yeah, we're covering all the games I don't like. This is another one I don't really feel like you want to touch. It's going to be a close game. That said, I like the Rams. I like the Rams and the over. I think they'll be able to bounce back and get it done. They lost a few games here, had a bye week. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked as spectacular as I've seen him in the past, and I think the Rams will find a way to get it done. You'll see Aaron Rodgers frustrated by the defense during this game. You'll see him yelling and doing the things that he does when he's not having a good time. You'll see those during this game. And it'll be close, and the Rams will pull it out.
I mean, I agree with you, Jared. This is another game I don't like. Very, very hard to pick. But, I mean, supposedly might be 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. I don't – Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he can necessarily perform that well with that. I think it's going to be a running – I think it's going to be like we expect the Titans and Pats game to be. Just running the football, slug it out. Yeah, Joe?
Let Let me throw this one out at you. The Rams are 3-2 in their last 5. They've obviously lost their last 2 to San Francisco and Tennessee. The wins came against Houston, Detroit, and the Giants. So if there's a team that's really hard to get a gauge on, I think it's this team. Outside of blowing out the Giants, Detroit and Houston both kept it mostly competitive for most of the game. This defense gives up 368 yards per game, including 263 in the air. These teams both do a good job of stopping the run, but I think when you're looking at these two defenses, the Rams have allowed more passing yards, and I really just, to me, that speaks of Aaron Rodgers having a huge day. And I don't know. To me, the Rams, I don't see it. I don't see them going into Lambeau. I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I'm gonna go the Packers, but I'm gonna go the Packers not necessarily because of Aaron Rodgers, because of AJ Dillon. I think he's a beast. He's a truck, and they're gonna get the run game going a lot better than the Rams.
Look, the Packers lost at the Metrodome, which is a terrible place to play. That's a tough stadium. They lost at the Chiefs, obviously without Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, they've beaten Arizona. They blanked Seattle with Russell Wilson at quarterback. They'd beaten Washington pretty good the week before that. I don't know. To me, Green Bay, I think right now Green Bay might be the team to beat in the NFC. I'm not saying that guarantees a victory. The Rams certainly are a good football team. Hell, maybe OBJ goes off and does something. Maybe he starts to produce. It's funny, it came out, I don't know if you guys saw this. I just was reading this earlier today, but OBJ turned down the Packers because he didn't offer him enough money. The idea of winning a Super Bowl, his mind was changed by dollars and cents, not by who the quarterback was or how good the defenses were.
Yeah. I mean,
did
maybe
that shock anybody that's what led OBJ down that path?
No, it's been a prima donna ever since he broke up with the field goal net.
Took that breakup tough, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't really handle it as well as he should have.
I love that. But I will
must have been the old BJ. Sorry, guys.
Oh God! All right. Back to this. I will say,
good.
Maybe
that was my last one.
Maybe Odell does feel a little slighted, but I mean, when Odell feels slighted, he gets in the quarterback's face and say, "Hey, throw me the football," and just when you're forcing it to Odell, nothing works out like that. And also, I mean, the Rams defense. I mean, Steve Risser did a great job on the Aaron Donald little player profile there. But, I mean, he hasn't necessarily had the same impact he's had in years past this year. And I think that's because they're putting him at the edge a lot more than they have in the past. And he's a DT. He's on the inside. With him, you want the shortest possible route from him to the quarterback because he takes a lot of other people with him and throws them into the quarterback. So I think that's the real probably defensive issue with them. I think they need to put him. I mean, look at what happened with Chris Jones last year when they moved him to DN. He just wasn't as impactful. When you got a DT, let them play DT. Stop trying to force them into an edge rusher. So, but yeah, I mean, something's going on. Something's going on with the. Yeah,
if he's being triple teamed every other play, then that means two guys aren't being blocked. So that means he's doing his job and somebody else should be stepping up and making a play.
Yeah. And I mean,
Jim Marshall.
I mean, if you're being triple teamed, okay, he'll be triple teamed on the outside, where if you're triple teamed, you're just take him away and you have that whole side, a whole nother side of the field to work with. If you're getting triple teamed in the middle, you got those lanes coming up between the tackles and the guards because they're coming down on him. So, I mean, it's just open up more lanes for the linebackers to get to either the quarterback or the running back. So, You can't be moving him to the edge. You got to be moving him to the inside.
Is Von Miller playing?
Yes, he should be. Yeah. The Rams injury report is only Robert Woods and Ben Sorokin. 2 wide receivers out. That's it for the Rams. But
I can't stand that argument. I mean, did Reggie White get ignored? They just ignored Reggie White on most plays, right? Right? Warren Sapp. Just let that guy go one-on-one. Yeah, like never, ever did that happen. And still, I can come up with those guys' names. They did everything on their offensive power to strategize to try to keep those Michael Strahans out of the backfield, and still they got their sacks, and you remember their name. How? Oh, he gets double teamed. He gets triple teamed. It's every play they throw a bunch of, and either other guys are going to perform or he's going to find a way to win anyways, like the great ones do. If he's that good, you find a way to make an impact anyways, like all the rest of the great defensive tackles and defensive linemen in the history of the NFL.
Last thoughts on this game. Green Bay has not lost back-to-back games in Matt LaFleur's tenure. The Rams have lost 3 straight games under McVay once in his 5 seasons. Last thing, expect a lot more Beckham today. He got 15 snaps in that rush debut. Expect him to be a big part of the offense, says McVay. Also, 3 tackles in his debut against San Francisco. Raheem Morris says expect Von Miller will have a much increased role in this game against the Green Bay Packers. So that was important for me to see too. And that also, I mean, that makes this a scary game. I don't know. I don't know if you know exactly what you're going to get from the Rams, because if those 2 guys are contributors, or even if one of those 2 guys has a big day today, it will change the whole complexity of the game.
This looks a lot like the Patriots game to me. And when I go to pick a team, if there were a plus 300 team here, I would take them. That was my argument with Tennessee. It's not so much the teams as the numbers. There's not that much chance for that. So if but these are both like minus 150, plus 110 or whatever. It's pretty much an even money game. If there were a plus 300 team here, I would take them. Either one of these teams can win the ball game.
Yeah. And I mean,
Green Bay also tends to lay 2 stinkers a year on you. They certainly could say week 1 qualified. Another one coming. You never know when it's going to be. You know, when Aaron Rodgers throws, he's like 17 for 38 for 175 yards and 3 picks. Those games happen in Aaron Rodgers' career sometimes. Could it be the week? You never know. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to think about. Von Miller, dude, with Aaron Donald on the same field, both getting a ton of snaps, that's a tough day. Maybe. Or maybe it's not. So,
I like the Rams.
A lot of unknowns here. I still like the Pack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
I like the Pack to win the game. I don't like the Pack to bet on.
No, yeah.
I'm not betting on the Packers.
Yeah, don't touch. Scary when you got two big heads in the NFC going at it. It's tough to really know what the outcome is going to be. And I mean, the NFC right now, those are 2 of the 3 heads. We got another team just as good, beat the Rams, lost to the Packers. Sadly, we don't see them today. They're on a bye, but our boy Riley Pride Barrett has us covered with the Cardinals.
Is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, a team that, even though they're first in their division, is treading water in terms of injuries. Can they continue the success? Your boy Pride's going to break it down. Now, let's start with the offense side of the ball. Now, obviously, this Arizona Cardinals team is very potent, and they have a very high-powered offense. If you really look at it, even though they are ranked, they're tied for 12th along with the Baltimore Ravens and Minnesota Vikings in terms of offense. That kind of has really went down because of the injuries. At one point, this was a top 10 to top 5 offense, but currently standing, they're third in points, sixth in plays, fifth in overall yards, seventh in passing yards, seventh in passing completions, and 11th in passing touchdowns. And in terms of running the ball, they are 8th in rushing yards, 3rd in rushing attempts. They are 1st in rushing touchdowns. They're also 3rd in overall touchdowns. Obviously, when you look at this team, the first kid you're going to look at is Kyler Murray. This kid is a stud. He's phenomenal. He's taken leaps and bounds in terms of being a quarterback. And obviously, when you have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins as your number one, it makes being a quarterback that much easier. Especially, you all know, you throw it up for D-Hop.
It's been a pretty summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program, because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade the Cesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
Our apologies to Riley Barrett. I mean, put in so much hard work. Sometimes just the machines decide not to work. So make sure you tune into the Clovercrest Media YouTube page, where we will be throwing up his team profile on the Cardinals after the show. And big shout out to Mosquito Shield for sponsoring today's CMG Sports NFL pregame show. Make sure when you sign up for their services in the spring, tell them Clovercrest Media sent you, and they'll hook you up with a discount. Now, let's get into
his stutter. Sorry to interrupt. His stutter's really getting better. I know he's been working a lot with the speech therapist.
Oh, my God. All right. Let's get in. Big AFC North matchup. Cleveland Browns head to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. We'll go to you first here, Jared. How do you see this game playing out?
The Cleveland Browns are so tough to get a beat on. That said, they look like a 6-6 ball club to me. I don't think they can beat this Ravens team. I don't like it at all. I'll take Ravens money line. It could be close, but this is definitely one of the games I like. We've covered a couple games I didn't like betting on. This one I do. Take the Ravens. I almost never take the spread. I want my team to want to be winning the way that I want them to be winning. I don't want them downing the ball when I need 4 points. So no spread, money line, Ravens, stack it on top of something else.
This is interesting. The Ravens and Browns actually meet twice in the next 3 weeks. Cleveland's got an open date next week, so they'll actually be seeing the Ravens twice in a row, which, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, is the last thing I want right now. The Ravens have only played a divisional game once in 10 games this season. How insane is that? That was their win at Cincinnati. 5 of the last 7 games were all within their division, so this team's really got their work ahead of them if they want to win this division and try to lock in the top spot in the AFC, which all of a sudden that door is open to them, and it all starts with a win today over Baltimore, which unfortunately Cleveland's a mess. Cleveland very much seems like a 6-6 team for me, and so I won't be shocked at all. Ravens move out to 8-3. I think with a win that I think I think the scoreboard might indicate a bigger margin of victory than what this game is. This might end up being like a 12-point win, but it'll feel like it was a 3-point game.
I don't know. I mean, Jared, you're talking about betting this game. I stayed away from this game. I looked at it. I was making my parlay. I looked at it. I thought about it. But, I mean, I think you guys are discrediting the Browns a little bit. Nick Chubb is back and healthy, and he's going to be a big, big part of that offense. I mean, Baker Mayfield's been so banged up. You can't rely on him to get the throws. I think
Baltimore's allowing 88 yards rushing per game. So I'm glad Nick Chubb is back, and I hope he's as healthy as he's ever been because he's in for a bruising today.
Yeah, and I mean, this is also the best O-line, and they just got a big piece in Jack Conklin back off IR. Kareem Hunt, also questionable, back off IR. I do think the Browns run the Browns are going to run over this Baltimore Ravens defense. I do think Lamar Jackson gets the run game going as well. I love the under. If I had to bet on this game, I'd take the under because I think it's going to be time of possession, just running, sustained drives. But I do see Lamar Jackson getting into the end zone more than the Cleveland Browns. I see them settling for field goals. So that's why if I had to pick a winner, I'd pick the Ravens, but I'm not touching this game because, I mean, I could see it going either way. I could see this being like a little bit of a bounce back game for the Browns.
Let me tell you why the Browns have no chance of a bounce back game. Throw the Cincinnati game out, the 41-16 beating they gave to Cincinnati. Since October 21st through November 21st, they scored 17 points against Denver, 10 points against Pittsburgh, 7 against New England, and 13 against Detroit. I don't know where I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in Cincinnati. I have no idea what happened in Cincinnati that day. The chances of that happening again are slim and none.
I'd say not slim and none. I'd say definitely higher. Slim. Definitely higher with this game because it is a divisional game and both these teams know each other.
The Browns could score 41 against the Ravens?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not throwing it out of the realm of possibility. But like I said,
you were going to pick Costanza yesterday, weren't you? You were going to pick George Costanza. I wish you'd been on the show because that would have been the time. That would have been the time.
No, I mean, I don't think they are going to score that much. I just said
I think these teams, weren't they in a shootout last season, actually? Now that I'm thinking about it, didn't they have a high-scoring shootout? And I think the Ravens won the game, but I think I kind of remember us talking about, hey, they hung with them or whatever.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
47-42 on December 14th of last year. Good call, Joe. They put up 89 points between them.
Yeah, that was is Baker really this good? Because he was hanging with Lamar.
And the answer has been answered since then. It's no. So we're all set here. We know what's going down.
Yeah, but I mean, for both these teams, it is established in the run. So I think it will be one of those slow paces, methodical games, eat up clock, both sides. I like the under. I think both these teams going to be able to run the football on each other's defenses. And, yeah.
I got one. Do you know why they have a suggestion box at Dunkin' Donuts? So the Baker Mayfield questions. They'll get better.
I like that one. That's really
I like that a lot.
All right. So we're all on the Ravens. Damn.
Yeah.
That makes me like the Browns even more, though. Last year on John About the G-Men, I was 4-1 when everyone picked against the Browns, and I was the only one picking the Browns. I will say that. But
I'm sorry. Do you keep stats?
yeah, sometimes I just remember this stuff sometimes.
It's good to know.
But all right,
because you're shooting like Shaq on throwing jabs.
Yeah, I am.
You get it. You get it sometimes.
Yeah,
Those
do.
dogs hit.
Ngannou, Teixeira.
You had us with the caboose last night. That's for
Oh,
sure.
hey, yesterday on the show, I said those 5 fights. I'd said right in the beginning, here's the guy that's going to come and beat the guy. The 5th one that I didn't mention, Ngannou. Cyril Gane when he came into the UFC. Yep, and that'll be another one. He'll beat Ngannou.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, well, you said Gane and Stipe. That was the original prediction, if I'm correct.
Gane to beat
Stipe.
To be, well,
Stipe
originally it was to
champion
be
at
the
the
next
time.
heavyweight that wins a few fights in a row.
Okay.
That will be the next dominant heavyweight in the UFC. Cyril Gane. Write his name down. I know it's a football show.
All right, let's get back to football with our next game. Philadelphia Eagles heading to East Rutherford, MetLife Stadium, to take on the Giants. Joe, we were talking a little bit before the show. You were talking about responsibly putting a very large wager on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
This
Yes,
afternoon.
I was planning on doing that today because I don't think that the Giants have a path to victory here today, unfortunately. And the reason I say that is they're terrible. And it was a nice step in getting rid of Jason Garrett, but on a short week that included Thanksgiving, I don't know how, and we don't even know who's actually calling the plays. Some mix of Freddie Kitchens, Joe Judge, and anyone else with a good idea, I suppose. So I think until the Giants get that settled and have a chance to actually practice and get because the offense has no rhythm. They've got nice talent. They can sometimes block. Daniel Jones might be good. There's just never the opportunity for the Giants to sustain anything because again, Jason Garrett's playbook last week, and I think the reason why he got fired, I literally messaged the Keys brothers in the middle of the game, and I was like, I don't understand what our offensive scheme is tonight. Like, what are we going for here? What's the game plan?
You guys were okay with Jason Garrett at first, and I told you he was a bum and wouldn't last the season.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't like Jason Garrett. I didn't like him when he was a quarterback. I didn't like him when he was a coach. I don't care for Jason Garrett at all. I don't like him. I've never got him. Listen, he got hired because that's how the Giants do it. There was an association, and they like that. That's comfortable. Works out.
The best part of Jason Garrett's career, hands down, is preseason. Can't remember the year, but there was a preseason where he was third string quarterback. He has a brother named Judd Garrett, who's a running back. And these guys, like they were in their backyard, took over the preseason game, Judd Garrett and Jason Garrett, and looked phenomenal because they knew each other. It was Montana and Rice-ish for a preseason game. But I'm telling you, that's the highlight of Jason Garrett's career is tossing the ball around with his brother and getting a preseason victory.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That should be a Disney movie.
Yeah.
The best
If it was-
preseason ever.
If Jason Garrett's life was a Disney movie, it would end after that preseason game. Would have been the climactic event. He would never have been a quarterback or a coach in the NFL. That would be the tops.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Jason Garrett goes, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he'd be a better OC than head coach, but I mean, it just wasn't. It just wasn't happening.
That's like the idiot that wrote the Mickey Ward story without Arturo Gatti. So even Mickey Ward said, "How do you make a movie about me without Arturo Gatti?" That doesn't make sense. Yeah,
But,
make it make sense, guys. I took the Giants. Joe.
Yes.
I took the
go.
Giants.
I
I
love it.
think these are two teams that are both susceptible to BS, let's say. It'll probably be a sloppy game. There'll be a lot of stuff you didn't expect. And neither one of these teams is a contender, whether Philly looked like it or not over the last week or two. Neither one of these teams is a contender. It's a good game. And at plus 200, you take the Giants for the same reason you took the Titans. You string them together, 10 wins you 70. See what I'm driving at here?
Yeah. I pick up what you're putting down. Also, I do think having a new play caller, having someone like that, I mean, if it is Freddie Kitchens, just that change, I think sparks momentum in a team. And I think that they're going to come out and have something to play for here. Also, 79 rushing attempts since with Jason Garrett calling the plays. Saquon Barkley has only had 79 rushing attempts. You want to know who's had the same amount of rushing attempts in that span? Baker Mayfield. The Giants just don't run the football. I understand it's only been 8 games, but still, that's less than 10 carries in those 8 games for Saquon. I think that's going to be the big thing here. Get Saquon Barkley the football, hand it off to him, let him go. And even if you do have a couple little negatives, a couple struggles here, Saquon Barkley is a workhorse, and he can be a workhorse. I think he's a guy you just got to keep pounding it with him, because eventually he can break one off for 40. And I think that's what the Giants are going to do. They're going to give Saquon Barkley the football, let him run. He should have at least 20 carries, set up play action, let Danny Dimes set it up, get some plays going down the field. And if he has to use his legs, he'll use his legs. And I expect – I said it on John about the G-Men. I'm even more sold now that I deeper dove into it. I think this will be the first game in forever since last year that the Giants score 30. I think the offense starts to click under new coach. And the Eagles, I mean, they have looked good, but I just don't see Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders. I don't see them. They'll be able to have some sustained drives, some okay moving the football with the run game, but I just can't trust them to make that play on key third downs. I trust the Giants more with the weapons they have than I do the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. I mean, he can maybe make it with his legs, but I can't trust him. I mean, who are you going to get it to? Jalen Rager, or he's injured? I mean, I don't even. Who is he? Who is even? I can't even name.
Name an Eagles wideout.
Travis Colgan.
They scored 40 against
Max
New Orleans
Hollins
last
still
week. They scored 30 against Denver, 24 against the Chargers, 44 against Detroit. The Eagles, this offense has been scoring points. And the Giants defense has certainly done a better job of stopping the other team from scoring. 30 points to the Bucks. And that's trending in the wrong direction. I don't see the Eagles are playing well. They've gotten hot. They've started to put things together. They got to a terrible start, and they've started to win some games, and they've done it by scoring a lot of points. And I feel like the Giants are susceptible to giving up a lot of points, especially the way the Eagles play, especially historically against the Eagles, especially the last 15 years or so. I feel like the Giants generally get embarrassed whenever they play the Eagles, both home and away. So I don't know. I don't trust the Giants here at all. I just don't think that there's been any time to implement what it is that Freddie Kitchens and or Joe Judge or, again, whoever exactly will be calling plays, because that still hasn't been made clear. So how this team's going to score 30 when we don't even know who's calling plays, when they couldn't score 30 when we knew who was scoring plays and when he had a ton of talent around him. So I don't know. I can't. I'd love it. I'll bet big on the Eagles today, and I'll hope to God that if I lose, at least the Giants, that means the Giants won.
2-3, Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are the Eagles really a 500 team? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Are they?
Are the Giants a 3-8 team? Yes. That certainly seems believable, especially if they're going to win out and finish 9-8, as I'm sure Jace thinks is going to happen.
Yeah, I'll pick them to win every game forever.
Yeah. So if they lose this one and then they win 9, they'll be 9-8, and they'll make the wild card and go on to win the Super Bowl. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 2-1 picking the Giants to win this year, and this is the fourth time. So.
Ooh, what was the loss?
I took them over. Here it is. The Jets. Oh, no. Excuse me. That's not right. Washington week 2.
Oh, okay. All right.
That seemed like a good bet at the time, too,
Yeah.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, what'd they win? Like, did they up to that point
12-7.
8 in a row against Washington
Yeah.
or something like that? But that's gonna do it for games. Forgot to do it. The stardom from Sander from Stir the Pot Sports at QB. He's got Jalen Hurts. He's been a top 10 QB in fantasy every week.
Did you want to mention why? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that as much as you do, Jace. I really do.
No, I love that. You want to know why? Because last time he picked Derek Carr against the Giants, and we all know what happened there. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Nice little Sander.
Hurst is a tight end for the Ravens, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a typo.
What's Hayden?
That's hilarious. Jalen Hurst.
And then running back James Robinson, Jacksonville. The 29th rush defense for Atlanta. And also, I mean, this is a terrible game as far as like the records go, but it should be a good game because, I mean, Atlanta.
Because someone's got to win.
Yeah. And the Jacksonville defense is starting to get things going with the other Josh Allen, the non-Buffalo Josh Allen. And then wide receiver Jamar Chase going up against the Steelers. With no Minkah Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Should be a big one. I mean, the Bengals is one of those teams. I have them on parlay. They should get it done pretty easily this week against the Steelers. But all right. And speaking of parlays, speaking of betting, Jared, Puncher's Chance NFL edition. Explain your picks.
You can parlay or round robin any of these. I did this on the fly, but all 6 of those are games I like. The ones on the left, I like considerably more than the ones on the right. So if you're going to start linking a few together, I like Panthers, Falcons, Seahawks. And if you're going to have a large round robin, I like the guys on the right. Do you have a way to post that picture I just sent you? The first one?
I'm trying to. The file's too big.
All right. So I put together a little one of those with the Giants and the Titans and $2 wins me $225 on those 5 teams. Any 3 breaks even. So I sent a picture of the 3 breaking even. That's the lowest 3 that could hit. And all 5 is $225. So this is how I do it. It's a $32 bet. And I picked 5 dogs. 3 of them hit you break even. All 5 is a couple $100. If they were bigger dogs, they'd be bigger numbers. But every week, you have dogs like that hit. So you parlay the favorites. You round robin the dogs. And it always seems to work out pretty good. Unless the Jets beat the Titans or whatever, Terry Harper loses. I do find my foot in my mouth sometimes with it, but it's definitely the way to kind of beat the numbers, because making 7 on 10, you're never going to be right enough times.
Yeah, and I mean, especially this year being all topsy-turvy as it is, I mean, just throwing a little bit on some wild underdogs. Man, it's doing all right this year, but I mean, like I've said, I mean, it's with the NFL, as soon as you think you have a grasp on things, there's always that week where everything just shakes up and you never really know what's going on. But whenever that happens, I can guarantee you that we will be here the morning previewing those games to see what's shaking up and what's going on. But that's going to do it for today. For myself, Big Jace, Joe Guire, Jared Jones. That's going to do it for the NFL pregame show. Make sure you enjoy the games. If you do bet responsibly. And big shout out to Jess Rydell and CTBB Realty and Mosquito Shield for sponsoring today's pregame show. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week to talk about even more NFL football. Take care, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All 4 Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.